Grand Rising, wonderful souls, and welcome to Bronwen's Cove Tarot. This is a timeless collective reading on what is coming forward. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments, your subscribes. Thank you for your emails of confirmation, emails just sharing your stories, and emails booking readings. All of my readings are booked up for this weekend, but I still have openings next weekend. If you are a new face, welcome in. If you're an old one, welcome back. Please remember there is still someone going through the comment sections here and there, pretending to be me, pretending to be a pastor, pretending to be a friend. If it says WhatsApp or if it says anything about soliciting readings or asking for money, it is a trap, it is a scam. Please do not have your eyes pulled over with wool or the other way round. Just report and block them, please. Thank you very much. Now, with that being said, please remember that the energy that's picked up is past, present and future. And if I say he, she, masculine or feminine, take what resonates because we hold both of those energies. Now, with that being said, when I was channeling and connecting with our highest resonance light team members, I was pushed towards someone's child, and I have two energies. One, someone's being asked to check on their child, okay, to check their technology, to make sure that they're okay, because we're, you know, when we're kids, sometimes we don't make the best decisions, and sometimes we don't know that we're putting ourselves in danger. There's something here about a kid going to a house party and drinking too much or being in a vulnerable position, and there's something else here about a child being bullied at school. Okay, someone's child being bullied at school and they're not talking about it. Something to do with like either cyberbullying or sending videos with disempowering words in it, okay? And this is because this child is different. Now, this child could be different because they may have SEN, they may have special educational needs, or it could be that they are different as in they are a starseed, they are a mystic, they are a seer, they are a high priest or high priestess in the making. And the thing is, when children are very young and they have this potential, they do stand out because their energy is different, because they're sensitive, because, you know, like it says here, grounding, they're very connected to the crystalline grid of the earth, and they're just made differently, okay? So there's something here about checking and also nurturing the skills that they have, okay, and teaching them about protection. And when I say protection, I'm talking about psychic protection, but also if you have a child that is going through, you know, being picked on, and I'm really sorry if that's happening, because when I was a child, I was picked on when I was at school, and it's a disempowering time in their lives, but it can become extremely empowering. Someone's child needs to do either karate or some sort of self-defense. And it's not so much about fighting off bad guys or fighting off those who are picking on them. That is for confidence. That's for knowing thyself. That's for, you know, understanding the strength within you. Because I did when I was a kid. My mom took me to karate, and it was the most empowering thing that I could do, because it was around the same time that I was being picked on. And going in to do karate, you don't learn how to, you know, go in for conflict and with like physical one-on-one, not straight away. At first it's about breathing techniques, it's about centering yourself, it's about composure, and those things are just as important as being able to whoop a bully's ass, you know. Now you've also got here power, okay, and nurturing. So this is definitely someone's child, whether that is, you know, your 5-year-old or your 20-year-old. Someone here needs that hand reached out and just, are you okay? Do you need to talk? Do you need a hug and nothing else, okay? Now let's see what else would like to come out. You've also got passion, okay? So this is fire signs as well. This is Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. This is your first house, your 5th and your 9th. And it looks at how, you know, your first house is about your identity and how people perceive you. Your 5th house is love, and it's also about how we deal with conflict and how we deal with trauma and how we deal with chaos. And your 9th house is about your faith, your philosophies, and how it's not just your faith in, you know, higher things or grander things, but yourself as well. So I think this is very important for someone here. And also when I think of passion, I think of passion's lead. Okay, so someone here also, whether that is you, the person you're thinking of, another light one, or your divine counterpart, if you have children or if you have young adolescents around you that you support, that, you know, may not always communicate what it is that they need, There's something here about also encouraging them with whatever it is that they love doing, because it always pulls me back to our inner child. When we are children, we lead with our passions lead until, you know, a certain age, before, you know, society and stressors and peer pressure and things like that get in the way. When we lead with our passions lead, it lights us up. It's something that we can do that, you know, brings pleasure, it brings escape, it brings joy. There's something here about also engaging a child in the hobby that they really enjoy doing, whether that is reading, writing, swimming, horse riding, climbing, whatever it is that they love doing. There's something here about empowering them and grounding them and giving them that confidence by encouraging them to go for it with that hobby. Okay, you've got earth magic and creation. Okay, and you have fairies here. I love that. Okay, and this is also coming back to psychic gifts, because there is someone's child also who is visited by either spirits or by passed over loved ones, and there's someone specifically that comes and visits their grandchild. Okay, there's an energy of someone coming and visiting their grandchild and coming to play with them or coming to watch over them when they're not very well. Okay, but you have a child here or children here who, and again, what I was going to say is that there's someone here who is very tapped in, almost like the kid out of Sixth Sense, you know, I see dead people. And there is that there's that scene where he's in the car with his mum and he's going to his mum, okay, mum, don't be upset, don't be, you know, blah blah blah, and talking about there being a crash and that someone's passed away, and her saying that she doesn't believe in it, and he's talking about the necklace that is his grandmother's, and her asking why he keeps taking it, and him saying that he isn't. And you know, there's actually a woman who's passed away on the street and he's sitting in the car. There's new beginnings. There's someone here, someone's child is very, very tapped in, and the message that I got, and I had to write it down, was where is it? I wrote it down. Someone's grandmother visits. I have to, do you know what? Sometimes when it comes through, I have to write these things down. But there's something here with someone's child has strong mediumship skills, and to nurture them. But it wasn't just that. It's to listen to what they tell you and to believe what they tell you also. So if they're telling you that there is someone in the other room that they keep seeing by the kitchen and there's no one else in the house, believe them, okay, and believe the energy that they get from that as well. Because, for example, when I was young, and I've seen spirits and ghosts and things like that since I was about 5 years old, it was very scary when I was young because I didn't have anyone else in the home that I could talk to. I didn't realise that I could, because my sisters, you know, many other family members also had that gift too, but we didn't talk about it. And there's an encouragement here to talk about it, especially if they open up to you or the person you're thinking of or another light one about that, and doing it in a way that it is the same as, you know, teaching them about geography, and in that it's not a big deal, you know, it's just part of the gifts that you have. But also there's something here with teaching them psychic protection. And I also got that someone's child has a teddy, or they have a toy that they sleep with or they like or they want to keep in a specific place, and it's because there's a guardian that's attached to it, and it protects them, especially when they sleep, when they're young. Okay, radiance, yeah. There's definitely a big fire energy, okay, that's around this child. And with that radiance, again, it's reminding me of like Ra, but it's also giving me that ring of fire. This child is very protected, but there's something here about them having to hone their skills. Anything else? Anything else that would like to come out? You've also got wake up call, and it's upside down. All right, so this is pulling me back to a different energy of whoever it is that is feeling disempowered, a younger, either adolescent or child that is feeling disempowered by the environment they're in, whether that's high school, college, university, wherever it is that they are. And for some it may be a workplace, but there's something here about them either needing to move from the environment they're in, or finding that hobby or that passions lead to ignite that passion in them and that confidence in themselves, okay, in knowing themselves. Release, you've got release and breathe. Yeah, there's definitely someone that needs to have a chat with their daughter or their son, and not a forced one that is natural, where they feel they can open up. And I know as teenagers, I remember being a teenager, it's awkward, you know, how do you open up and talk and be vulnerable? Because at that age, it's very much about finding your value from your friends and from how people see you, and being able to open up and be very, very vulnerable and say, I'm not okay, or I'm worried about this, or I'm worried about that, can be difficult, it can. But there's something here with someone's child needs to open up to them about something, okay? And doing so will bring in so much grounding for them, or make them feel so safe. It will really give them that safety that they need. And it's, do you know what I heard? It's repetitiveness. There's something here about telling them, I'm always here if you want to talk. The door is always open, because they may not come the first time or the second time or even the 10th time, but them knowing that genuinely that door is open and it's not just something that this light one is saying, is going to give them that confidence when they feel they really need to speak to their mum or their dad or their auntie or whoever their caregiver is, that they can come and they're going to be heard, and that they're not going to have the opinion of their mother or their caregiver pushed on them, just a listening ear. Because you've also got here synergy, yeah, exactly. And you've also got nurturing, purification and movement, okay? So there's something here about cleansing something. There's some, and this pulls me back to when the child, when your child or this light one's child says, I don't like the energy in that room, or there's something in the house, or whenever I go into the bathroom I feel uneasy, or mummy, look over there, there's a black cat with pink eyes, I don't know. If they're, you know, and I know the last one's a little bit, you know, out there, but if for example, my partner's son, he would pick up on energies in our apartment, and some of them he liked and some of them he didn't, and I listened, and the ones that he didn't, that's where I cleansed that area. And this is what I'm getting here, because purification is upside down and so is nurturing, and then you have movement, okay? So someone is being asked to cleanse the feng shui, the balance and harmony in specific places in their home, or it's not just a home, because with river as well, this may be someone's bathroom, but to listen to your children. And I heard also your dog or your animal, because they may also pick up on this, and that is not to incite fear in any way, shape or form. It's just working as a team, because sometimes kids can say things, you know, when they're very little, sometimes we don't always pay attention to everything that they say. And there's an encouragement here for someone whose child is either a crystal child, an indigo child, you know, a mini mystic or shaman in the making, to listen to them and to kind of believe when they say, I'm scared of going in there. Because we all have that, you know, oh, I can't sleep, I don't like the dark, there's a monster on my bed, or you know, oh, I saw a fairy in the garden, and us going, oh yeah, okay, blah blah blah. But take heed, and not warning or anything like that, just take heed. If they're saying, I don't want to sleep in there because there's something looking at me, believing them and going in and using your words of prayer or affirmation or whatever it is that you use to cleanse, to ground, to heal on your, you know, in your spiritual practice, to do that and to show them what it is that you're doing in layman's terms for them to understand, to empower them so they can do that too. But this is a double meaning as well, because with this nurturing, purification and movement, there's someone's child here who is either getting picked on or feeling disempowered at school or whatever environment that is, and that need to have that door open for them to communicate with you or the person that you're thinking of, because it's going to move something, okay? That movement, that moving of, you know, not repressing it, not always holding on to it, because when we are young, our wounded inner child doesn't have to come from abuse, it doesn't have to come from massive trauma, it can come from not feeling heard, or, you know, speaking your words and someone not believing you, or not, you know, or kind of half believing you, or not or feeling like expressing yourself doesn't have value to our caregivers, okay? So this is also an encouragement for anyone that feels like their child is going through something, to just let them know, you know, I see you, I hear you, and if you need me, I am here. And I'm not saying that any of you are not doing that, but that encouragement is coming up to continue doing that, and to continue letting your children know, I am here. I'm here if you need me. Okay? Because you've got celebration here, and you've got vision quest upside down. There's something here about, you know, sometimes when we think back to our own childhoods and how we grow up, and how if our caregivers had been a little bit more open with communication or love, or even with knowledge about the esoteric or about spirituality or about religion or whatever that is, that maybe our paths may have, you know, intermingled with the right path that we needed to go on for our due north a little bit sooner. And there's an encouragement here, especially with these two energies of one who's feeling disempowered and a child that may have, you know, really tapped in energies and skills, about encouraging that without forcing it. Okay? Because it means that they will go onto their due north when they need to, when it's destined. But with this message coming through, this is saying that that encouragement, that nurturing means that the lessons that we learned from where we were limited with our own caregivers is not something that will be repeated with our own children. Because you've got creation and celebration. You've definitely got someone here who is very artistic, okay, and maybe quite shy or not confident to show that to other people. And I know, as you know, someone who's very empathic, when I was younger, because I love to illustrate, I love to paint, I love to create, and when I was younger it was a form of escape for me, but I didn't want to show other people because it was very personal to me. There's an energy here of someone being very artistic in whichever format that is, and there's something here about encouraging them to do this, and this is going to help them, especially with emotions, because you've got here passion and it's upside down. Okay, so someone's keeping this, and especially with that moon card as well, this is very linked to their emotions and how they escape when they feel stressed, but also not wanting to show others. And for some reason it's pulling me back to the start of the reading with, you know, someone's child being picked on, and videos or words or cyberbullying, and someone picking out the fact that this person is talented, they're artistic, or they're sensitive, or they're, you know, emotionally tapped in, and being picked on because of that, because whoever it is or this group that's doing this, they're threatened by how intelligent this child is, or how tapped in this child is, or how creative they are. Okay, you've got foundation. Now this is something to do with, again, it comes back to grounding, because your foundations are your fourth house and your family, but your foundations are also how you perceive yourself and your identity, and how you connect to the world around you and the community around you. Okay, because you've got intensification. And this is telling me that with it being upside down, that somebody here, because I heard help me, all right, someone's child is asking for help, or asking, they want to know more about themselves, but they don't know how to guide themselves towards that. Okay, because yeah, look, you've got Lady and Goddess Feminine upside down and intensification upside down. Okay, this is quite an interesting read, because I've never had one that is specifically focused just on children or on youth, if that makes sense. And look, Feminine Divine is coming out again. Now you've got this one here, and you've also got Healer upside down. Okay, so there's definitely here, especially with this grounding, radiance, release and purification, there's something here. And I heard an older person needs to go back in time. There's something about going back to your inner child as well. And I heard this is for a father for some reason. This is very specific. This is for a father. And the message I heard was, go back in time to when you were young. What was it that was missing? And how can you give that to your child? Because with Healer upside down, Healer and Witch, you can forget about those labels. This is about how we heal ourselves. There's something here, because I heard cast upon your heart. Now that can be an incantation, or that can be an experience, that can be words that were said that were very cutting, that were disempowering, that have placed a scar on our own hearts. And for someone specific, for a divine masculine, and this is specific, someone's being asked to go back in time and think about how they grew up and what was it that was missing, especially from the heart space, how can they offer that to their child? And it's not saying that they're not doing that. It's saying that there seems to be either a pattern or there's a cycle that's now happening to their child, and the divine or this person's ancestors is saying, look back. What did you learn from that? How did you heal from that? And how can you offer that to your child now, rather than them having to wait 20, 30 years before they can heal from that? Okay, because you've got spring and hand fasting. Okay, there's something here about someone's union. Why am I being told about a union? Someone trying to block a union. Okay, there may be something here also with a child who is finding it really uncomfortable in the fact that, you know, sometimes, you know, two families merge together. So you have now a step sister and a step brother or step siblings. With this intensification upside down and hand fasting, there's something here about that change from, you know, it was just me and my dad, it was just me and my mum, and now I have a step parent, and now I have a step sibling. There's someone here who's either retaliating because of that, or acting up because of that, or acting up, as we say. But it's the acting up. This is why it goes back to, you know, listen to what they tell you and believe what they say. Someone here needs to have a chat with their child, and rather than disciplining them, and I'm not saying don't set those boundaries and not expect them to go by those boundaries, but it's looking deeper, especially if you have a family that's merged and you now have two siblings or step siblings. They're having to learn a different role than what they had before, and how do they pigeonhole themselves into that family now? Because you've got someone here, and I'm seeing the words a sulky teenager, or they're just sulking, they'll get used to it. But someone needs to have a heart to heart because they're feeling really disempowered. Okay, because yeah, look, boundaries. Someone's pushing against that boundary. Anything else that would like to come out? This is going to be a short one, and it's very different. The energy that's being picked up is very different from what I usually pick up on, but I think this message really needed to get out to certain people. Okay, because you've got Lord God, masculine, and boundaries. All right, you definitely have either a teen or someone who's pushing against the rules, so to speak, especially as they're new rules. But also with that Lord God, there's something here about taking actionable steps also. Taking actionable steps to help this child or this adolescent, not only to keep respecting those rules, but to feel that they can open up about what it is that's making them feel uncomfortable. Because yeah, look, it's about respect. It's about learning that respect, because respect is earned, but it's earned on both sides. And the thing is as well, even growing up myself, it was always, you know, under my house it's my rules, which is absolutely fine. And I respected my family, I respected my parents. However, respect goes both ways. And we can set rules for our children, but we have to, and I'm just saying this as a general, I'm not actually directing this specifically at you. When we expect respect from our children, we have to show them respect as well. And it doesn't mean that we are on equal par, because our children, excuse me, when I say we're not on equal par, it's that you have some parents who allow their children to call them by first name. To me, that is almost like going, I'm your friend before I'm your parent. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that we have us as the parents, and then the children, you know, you respect us, but we have to show respect. And that respect also comes in being emotionally sensitive, still laying down the laws, still having boundaries, still doing the discipline, but also being able to engage in some of the softer things, like having that door open to have emotional talks, respecting what they say, and even if not agreeing with what they're saying, valuing their voice and letting them be heard. That is what I'm getting at. My throat is going again. Wow, the minute I started talking about that, my throat started closing up. So there's definitely a message here that needs to get out to someone's parent, okay? And when I bring up things like this, I'm in no way judging someone's parental style. okay, because we all parent our children differently. We all have different ways of doing it, and none of it is wrong, okay? That is not what I'm saying in any way, shape or form. This is the energy that's coming through, and there is a child here. There's something here about a child's voice needed to be heard, and there still needs to be, that child still needs to respect their parent, and they still need to abide by those rules and by those boundaries. But there is an urge or an encouragement to help that child through uncomfortable situations in a respectful way, where their voice is still heard, even if what they're saying, because you know, when you're 16, when you're 14, or when you're 13, you think you know everything. You think you think you're grown, you know, and you can become sassy and so on and so forth. It's not about allowing them to be sassy or disrespectful, but it's allowing them to speak their mind in a respectful way, even if it's not agreed with, so they feel like they've been heard. Because the more they feel like they're being heard, the more they are going to be willing to work with their parents in keeping those lines of communication open, on respecting boundaries, on respecting this and respecting that, if you understand what I mean in that aspect. Okay, because respect is coming up a lot here, and Lord God with masculine is coming up again. So this is very much about, and I don't know why I'm hearing this, this is for an unruly teen as well, because spring, there's something here that they either wish to communicate, they wish to do, but they're holding themselves back. They're holding themselves back, okay? Because you've also got autumn. It's almost like they're missing the summer, that part where you grow, where you expand. They're going from spring of, you know, spring is when we're starting to come out of hibernation, where we get to grow out of the old skin of what we once knew, to move into something new. And then you have got autumn, okay, where we're now shedding and getting ready to go back into hibernation, but we have absolutely no summer where they're growing. And there's something here about needing that space to grow, okay, needing that space to grow. Now, why is it coming out about teens and families and things like that? And then you've got scrying mirror, okay, and shadow, and then you've got guardian. So someone's guardian is coming forward to let you know, or a light one know, that there's something here within their shadow side, okay? And I heard your shadow side as well, that may be very similar to things that either your child or this light one's child is going through, and they kind of want you to guide them through it because you've been there, because you have that wisdom. And with this healer being upside down, there may be trauma, or there may have been an event or something that happened that they haven't spoken about. You've got guidance and altar here upside down, okay? Now, for some reason, I heard reading someone's diary, okay? And I heard don't do it, don't do it. And there's also here, for those who do practice, because this is upside down. Let me see. Yeah, there's something here with, this is not just for tarot cards, this is reading without permission. And reading without permission goes to diaries as well, or reading someone's phone, or going through their texts. If you do that because you think that they're in danger, that for me is an exception. Anything else, that's an invasion of privacy. If you give them a phone, or you give them a diary, or you give them, that is their space for privacy, where they can express themselves. And you have to remember that when we're young, we're still learning how to communicate, we're still learning how to human, and that's a safe space to be vulnerable, to be open. So for whoever it is, I don't know who that's for, but if you're considering reading your child's diary, not because they're in danger, but because you want to know, if you do that, you are breaking their trust, and it will close down lines of communication. But you've also got altar and dedication. There's something here about doing things together with your child, especially if they're unruly, especially if they're playing up. Because I remember I used to watch a lot of Super Nanny, and I mean, I was a nursery teacher for a very, very long time, but watching a lot of these unruly children that are running about, not listening to boundaries. And then you see that usually the main cause is either lack of routine, or lack of time and affection, or even focus being put on the children. And there's something here about doing something with your child or for your child, which is going to help them open up also. You've got containment, okay, and it's upside down. There's something here about This is also giving me that, because in my previous video it was talking about something blowing up on live chat and people going, I can't believe you do that to a vulnerable person. There's an energy here of whatever this energy is, of this adversary, like playing around in the background, trying to intimidate or antagonize or do something to bring in conflict into someone's home who has children or has those who they care for, okay? Because with this containment upside down, it's giving me a double meaning. Doing something with your child, especially if you are estranged or there is a strained relationship in the same home, it's going to get them to come out of their shell. And the other meaning is that whoever it is that is sending stuff, especially with witch and healer upside down, they're doing so to try and get emotions to bubble over. And I had put love into the situation, okay? Because it's going to bring in union. It's going to bring in union. Because look, at the moment, this is what they're trying to do, is bring in blocked communication. Now with this is the air sign. So there's a Gemini, Aquarius and Libra. So it's all about communication. It's about social circles. There's something here about why can't I go out? Or why is my curfew a certain time, or it's not fair, okay? And with Libra, again, it's not fair. So there's definitely this energy of trying to bring this in to cause some sort of ruckus. Anything else that would like to come out? This one at the back. Spirit and initiation. And let's place that one over there, and what's underneath? Okay, magic and circle. And there's something here about someone's child being interested in what it is that their care provider, their guardian, their mother, their father, whoever it is that cares for them or takes care of them. There's something here about them wanting to learn more about their spiritual path, but not really knowing how to communicate that, okay? Now, any advice before I go? Because look, awakening. There you go. This is going to help them awaken to who they are and what it is that they want to do as a passions lead. This has been a very nice reading. For once, I like it. Anything else that would like to come out before I go? Okay, a little bit of advice before I go. And we have got Realm Bridger and Star Seer. Okay, now with the Star Seer, this is again going back to, there is someone's child here who has it's almost like untapped gifts, because they're tapped in but they haven't got that guidance just yet. And with Realm Bridger, okay, someone may actually astral project. Okay, and astral projection, this is my experience and my understanding, is that things like, for example, sleep paralysis are where you astrally project without any protection, without any direction. So you can bring back whatever wants to come back, comes back with. And when I was very, very young, I used to get sleep paralysis, and it's because I didn't realize that I was astrally projecting and just going anywhere, which can be dangerous, okay? Now with this coming through, especially with this protection and spirit initiation and witch in reverse, whatever is being sent towards a light one to try and affect their status quo and their balance and how they're going forward and healing and growing and expanding and bringing in blessings that are deserved. Whoever this is in the background is trying to affect the energies around them, which is your loved ones, your children, your animal, your jobs, your this, your that, to remove that status quo, to bring in disruptions, okay? But with Starseer and Realm Bridger, there's something here about teaching your young ones how to protect themselves, even if that's just through words of power, through prayer, through, you know, affirmations before they go to sleep and when they get up, or doing certain techniques throughout the day, okay? Because you've also got crystal keys. Yeah, this is going to help them to unlock their own potential at their own pace and at their own time, and to kind of figure out what it is that they want to do, who they are at their I am presence. Anything else that would like to come out? What a lovely read. Yeah, higher heart chakra. So that this being upside down, there's definitely something here with the heart space for someone's child. Okay, and you've also got fire. Fire keeps coming out again. We've had fire 3 times. Okay, so that's Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. And ethers, okay, the seamless, unspeakable. So someone is definitely trying to send something towards someone's loved one, their child, their pet. And this is also just a call, especially if this is about advice. This is teaching our children and those that go after us, how to stand in their sovereign fire, but allowing them to learn what resonates with them by giving them the information and the keys that we have, that we've learned through our wisdom, so that they can protect themselves, okay, and so they can empower themselves. Okay, look, trust your innocence and freedom. I love this. So this is again a call to especially the divine masculines that are watching, that have children, to go back in time to when you were a child. What was it that was missing? What was it that you would have wanted from your caregivers to give you that liberation? How can you then give that to your children now? I'm going to leave that there because I thought that was really beautiful. If you are new to my channel and you like what you heard and this resonated, I'd love for you to hit on the like, the subscribe and on the notification bell so you can see more of my content. And if you are a returning subscriber, as always, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Anyone that is looking for a private reading, all of my information is in the description box down below. If you look for the second paragraph down, there is a row of arrows. I have 2 emails there. The one that is more responsive is whiteravenmystics@gmail.com. But with that being said, I hope you guys have an awesome morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you later. Bye.